I went on with my daughter Olivia. She called me up and she said, Papa, guess what? There's flights to Boise, Idaho for like, I don't know, $49 or $45 or something each way. We got to go up. And she has a girlfriend that was going to school at the time at Boise State. And I get along with her and her family real well. Her father's name's Marco, and Marco's just the greatest guy. But what's neat about him is that he used to live in Switzerland and skied the Alps and was a ski patrol guy. So this guy's hardcore. And I don't meet a lot of guys that are like me, and he is. In fact, him and I are so much alike that it was such a great trip that we went to Boise, Olivia and I, and Marco and I flew up a couple of days after Olivia got up there because she wanted to go up early and hang out with her girlfriend, and so she did. And her girlfriend and her were, I think they even went skiing a day or two before us. But anyway, this is the story of the greatest ski trip ever, and what happens when things go not quite as you planned. Get a load of this. So this is how it starts out. And you have to understand that when I think of how this trip started out, it was the craziest thing because I packed 2 days beforehand to go. And if you're a hardcore skier, you can totally relate to this. And I'm not saying if you pack last minute, you're not a hardcore skier. All I'm saying is, it's just something you just think about every day, all the time. And you check the weather forecast, and you can check the weather forecast 4 times in a day sometimes, and it'll still be in Arizona, it'll still be sunny. It's crazy. But anyway, so get a load of this. Marco and his beautiful wife Anne come to pick me up at my house, and we load the boards up. We put the skis in the back of their big old SUV, and we head to the airport. And we're talking and we're happy, and they're like, hey, what do you think about this trip? And I said, oh boy, I'm so excited. I'm so happy. Thank you guys for picking me up. So before I go any further with the story, I just thought what I would do is I would bullet point what's going to happen here as we come forward. We're going to get to the airport. Then we're going to get to Boise, and we're going to drop off. We're going to get the car, rent a car, and then we're going to drop in on his daughter and her friends at their house. Then we're going to go eat dinner, and then we're going to ski the next day. Then we're going to come back. We're going to miss a flight. And then the last thing is I have a story about a dog farting in the hotel lobby. So that's what's coming up here in the story. So right now we're driving to the airport. And you might be asking yourself, so what's the big deal? Right now you haven't told me shit about anything that's exciting. All I can tell you is put your seatbelt on, because this is where it gets crazy. So Marco and his wife are just the best hosts, and they're just the greatest people that you could possibly imagine being around. They're just friendly, and their daughter and my daughter get along really well, and they're just the greatest people that you've ever met. And this is the first trip that him and I have been on skiing together. So anyway, we get to the airport, and we're unloading all of our stuff, and we're checking our bags in. And guess who forgets their wallet? Oh my God. Is this typical shit? You go, what? You forgot your wallet? You packed for 2 days beforehand and you forget your wallet? Yeah, me, Frankie Z. I forget my my wallet. And I can't even tell you. Like, I'm sitting there, and I wanted to just. I think Southwest Airlines has a commercial where like you just want to get away. Well, I'm at the goddamn airport and I just want to get away and I can't. I have no ID. I have no money. I have no wallet. I have nothing. And I'm sitting there going, what? So all of a sudden it occurs to me that in my travel kit, I have a second ID because I travel with two IDs just in case one of them gets lost. But anyway, so Marco says, well, here, how about if I throw you a G and we'll roll up to Boise and you can forget about it? Because if you got your ID, we don't need to go home and get an ID and come back and maybe miss the flight and all that. And I was like, oh my God. So like you can see how this trip is already starting out. It is just, I don't know if I want to say awful, but it's like, it's awful for me. As we start to move through the trip, we land in Boise, and Boise's cool. I love Boise. It's such a cool town. It's such cool people. It's laid out real nice, and it's a combination of university, ski town, northern town. Like, I don't know how else to put it, but like it's real big on Boise State, Broncos, football, basketball, all kinds of sports. I mean, the girls' sports rock up there, everything. And it just has a huge following. In fact, we went down to the Blue Field and visited the University of Boise's football field and actually touched the Blue Field, which for some people may not be a big thing, but if you watch Boise State football, you know what I'm talking about. That's right, Frank Diddy down on the turf. So, anyway, we land, we get to Boise, love Boise, we pick up the car, and immediately me and Marco start in like two girlfriends. Turn here, go there, do this, do that. We couldn't figure out which way to go. We're looking at the map, telling us which way to go, and nobody wants to follow directions. Finally, we get out of the airport, and it's not that complicated of a process, but we're also talking and not paying attention to shit, and there's all this construction that's around the airport. It's crazy. But anyway, we finally get out of the airport. We go find the girls, and the girls, we drop in on them at where Amelia lives there in Boise. She lived off of campus her senior year, and we rolled in, and they showed us her house, and they were going to have a party that night. It was cool. I don't know. I just love college and college people. There's just so much fun. Anyway, we roll over to the hotel and we get checked in, and the Residence Inn downtown is such a beautiful hotel, and it's right in the middle of everything. And they had just the best service and the best people working the front desk. I mean, I got to tell you about this hotel, because this hotel, let me just go down what it says here. It says it's surrounded by bars and casual eateries. And that is totally the truth. Everything's within walking distance. All kinds of stuff. Everything that you can imagine eating. Dutch Brothers to P.F. Chang's. It's fantastic. All suite hotel in the downtown. It's 10 minutes from the zoo. I don't know who would go to Boise to go to the zoo, but maybe that's what you do. 12-minute foot from the iconic Idaho State Capitol, and 4 miles from the Boise, Idaho Airport. Featuring city views, the bright, stylish studios have free Wi-Fi, flat screens, and kitchens, as well as a seating area and sofa bed, 1 and 2 bedroom suites, add separate living rooms, airport shuttle, hot breakfast, yada yada. I mean, it is, and it's such a nice hotel, and it's just clean, and the service was fantastic, and it had a pool. It says on the amenities that there's an extra charge for Wi-Fi, but like they totally had a code for you, and they're like, here, man, if you need anything, we'll bring it up to you. We'll let you know. There was no parking charge or anything like that, and they had this great parking garage. It was really cool. So we decided to go eat dinner at the Matador, and the Matador is this great restaurant in Boise's downtown. I gotta tell you, it's a Mexican food restaurant, and they had just the best food. Anyway, I highly recommend it. But what was cool about eating at the Matador is that it was Saturday night, and we could hardly get a seat anywhere at any restaurant, and they rolled us in and got us sat and got us food, and we were just starving to death. But anyway, they were just so accommodating and so fantastic, and the food was so good that I just said, we've got to come back here. So we finished dinner, and we roll out of the Matador, and we're on our way back to the hotel, and we cut through this alley. Now get a load of this. I'm cutting through this alley with my daughter and Marco and his daughter, and of course you have like this thinking in your head that it's an alley, so that your awareness has to be risen a little bit. You never know what could happen. And we come across this group of kids, and they're sitting there with a guitar, and they're singing John Denver, Take Me Home, Country Roads. I swear to God, it's the craziest thing in the world. And they had this little kumbaya moment right there, and it was just neat as hell. I couldn't believe it. And it was just indicative of how that community is, frankly. I mean, I don't even know what to say about it. It was just the coolest thing ever. Listen, if you're enjoying this podcast, would you like or leave a comment for me, or share it with somebody, or call them and tell them to tune in? It would have really helped the podcast out, and I'd appreciate it. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Anyway, so moving on, we go to the hotel, and we're kind of roaming around, and Marco says, listen, I'm going to bed. I said, okay. So the next morning we get up, we have this great breakfast, everybody's ready. The girls show back up because they stayed over at their house just off campus somewhere. And anyway, so we go up to the hill to go skiing. And let me tell you about BOGUS Basin. That is the ski resort that's right outside of Boise State, Idaho. And it's like, I don't know, maybe I just haven't skied in enough places, but this place was so much fun, and it was so cool. Like, you don't even know how awesome BOGUS Basin is. And it's kind of set up so like families can go up there and do stuff like inner tubing. And let me give you a little report here on what these guys do, because it's so crazy. They have winter tubing, they have a Nordic center, they have ski in, ski out, they have like this thing, it's like a roller coaster. You get on these tracks and these rails, and you can ride this thing down. I mean, it is by far the coolest place that I've skied. I don't even know what to say. Now, it's not the greatest place I've skied, because there's the bowls of Vail, and I don't know if anybody's ever experienced the powder in lower Rockies in New Mexico, but Ski Santa Fe was pretty good too. Anyway, getting back to this, the skiing was just fantastic, and it started out in the morning. It was a little cloudy, and it had just dumped about 2 inches of fresh powder, maybe 3. It was crazy. Like, it was just all fresh. They had groomed the mountain from that night, and since the night, they had fresh powder on top of the groomed. So when we made first tracks up there, it was just so, oh my God. Like, if you ski, I don't even know, maybe on the Bunny Hill too, like, it's just the best to ski first tracks. Intermediate, expert, I mean, I think that's why people hella ski and shit, is because they go up there and they get that virgin snow and they just shred through it, and it's just so much fun. I mean, I can't even tell you what it's like either, because like that's my, oh my god, I just love to do that since I was a little boy at like 5 or 6 years old, and till now, like 50 years. I'm still just like, this is the greatest thing ever. I can't tell my parents thanks enough, and my little brother, because there would be times I'd be like, oh man, we can't go skiing, we can't get up there. My little brother would be like, what? Yeah, we can. I talked to Grandpa Zan, and he said he'd come pick us up in the milk truck. We just have to call him. So shit, sure enough, we called up my grandpa, and one day he took us up and put us in his milk truck, because that's what my family did in Flagstaff growing up, is we were milk farmers. So my grandfather picked us up from our house and took us up to the ski hill, to the bottom of it, so we could catch the bus to go up. It was over Christmas break. Anyway, I'm getting off topic here, but we just shredded all day. Marco and Amelia and Olivia and myself, and it was just one of the best ski days ever. I can't even tell you how great it was, because in the afternoon the sun came out, it warmed up real nice, and they have this mid mountain lodge that you can chill at, and they have one of the best lunch selections. I mean, it's not the greatest, I guess, but it had the best hamburger that day, and it was so good to eat. And oh man. Anyway, enough about that. So the afternoon came around, and same thing. We were just trying our best to just ski as many runs as you can. And this hill, let's see, it says it has 82 trails, and this thing gets about 200 to 300 inches of snow every year. How many lifts? Let's see. Does it tell me how many lifts up here in Boise? You know, they have a trail map that's cool. Let's see. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They have like 7 or 8 legit lifts, and then they have like 2 or 3 like beginner lift type lifts. I don't know, but anyway, I'm not going to go through and find all that. Mountain statistics. Let's just see what it says here real quick. It says it has 4 detachable high-speed quads, 3 double chairs, 4 conveyor lifts. Its capacity is 9,980 riders an hour. Its vertical transport feet is 10,383. Skiable terrain is 2,600 acres for all day skiing, and that's a lot. I mean, that mountain's big. There's a ton of skiing. A lot of people won't get in your way, like at other mountains I've skied sometimes. The one that's right outside of Las Vegas, it's a little tough to ski there. Big Bear was kind of tough to ski because there's so many snowboarders at those hills that they take up quite a bit of the run, and you just have to like start at the top and then take a straight arrow down to the bottom so you don't hit anybody. But anyway, so we finished skiing, and the thing about skiing up there is there's a lot of really nice scenery, and there's this great pictures to be taken, and people are real friendly. So you're like, hey, can you take our picture? And people be like, yeah, we'll take your picture. And it's just kind of fun, you know. So when you come down the mountain, we had just shredded all day. So we went into the hotel, and we were standing in the lobby trying to decide what we're going to do to eat. And so that particular moment, there's this woman that's in the hotel lobby, and she walks in with her dog. And right then, Marco kind of looks at me like, what the hell is she doing in this hotel with that dog? Because I don't think dogs are I don't think it's a pet friendly hotel. But anyway, so she walks in with this dog, and I kind of looked at it and I thought, you know what? I think she's right. I think he's right. So the front desk was kind of over near the magazine section. So after eating the Matador that night, I went over to the magazine section where nobody was, and I decided to do a little crop dusting. And besides that, the dog was kind of sitting over there, and I thought, oh, this is great. So Marco pulls up next to me and he looks at me and he says, Frankie, did you just fart? And I looked at him in this paranoid, like I'm guilty look. And I said, Marco, of course not. And I pointed down to the dog and I said, that dog must have. Let's get out of here. We shuttled out of there. And Marco looked at me without believing a word and shook his head in disgust. That's your boy Frank, did he? Well, needless to say, I thought I got away with one, blaming the dog, because I don't know how many times my grandfather blamed a dog whenever he'd fart. It was the craziest thing. So anyway, I tried pulling that card out in Boise, and it kind of worked, but it really